a really good thing the internet loves cat-related content, because it's like all I got. Some merely adopt the cat lady lifestyle, but I was born in it, molded by it. I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I haven't lived with a cat. My parents were the really bad influence when it came to taking in strays and giving them a loving home. I've never really understood why people pay money to get specific breeds of cats when it seems like mongrels just kind of manifest in our home. We've acquired cats in so many different ways. I think we were out seeing Shrek 2 or something, but my dad was the manager of a movie theater, and it was downpouring outside, and someone brought in a little kitten, and she just came home with us. Similar thing at a wedding, we found a stray kitten, or I think my favorite is when we went out trick-or-treating one year and ended up going home with 3 little kitties. And it's no different for the cats I have now. There are a few cats that I've had since birth, Arthur being one of them. Came to me from a friend who had a litter of kittens at a time when my life goal was to have as many orange cats as there are Weasleys in the Harry Potter books. Tiki came to live with me after my aunt had to move to a house where she couldn't keep her anymore. When she was 11, this little old lady came to stay with us, and she's older than my little brother and about as ornery. And Taco was a similar situation. I had told my friend Sky that I would help her find a home for him when she had to make an emergency move, and then he just ended up staying with us. As if 3 cats wasn't enough. Meet Domino. I'm convinced Domino is the luckiest cat in the world, which is why she's named what she is. She interrupted our 4th of July plans when we stopped to save her from the middle of a highway. This teeny tiny 8-week-old baby was literally on the center yellow line about 5 miles outside of the town where my parents live, and I'm really glad Jonathan was driving because he always has an eye out for wildlife. We had just seen a snapping turtle a few miles back, so he was like even more on alert when we drove past this little fuzzy thing in the middle of the road. He had assumed that it was just another piece of roadkill, but as we were passing her, she sat up and moved. So he immediately pulled over, and I love him for that. I ran out into the middle of the road and scooped her up. She was terrified. I was really surprised that she wasn't terribly hurt. Skip like 5 or 10 seconds ahead if you're a little squeamish. Luckily, the only injury she had was pretty cosmetic. Her lower lip had become completely detached from her jaw. So while I thought her mouth was like hanging open in shock or pain or something, really the skin was just not where it should have been. We named her after the Marvel character in Deadpool 2 because she seems to have just boundless luck on her side. She's lucky we saw her and were able to stop. She's lucky that her injuries were as minor as she was for being such a tiny kitten on a major highway. Further lucky that despite it being the 4th of July, the vet up the road was able to take care of her and get her stitched back together. And honestly, she's just blowing my mind because despite having to have her face stitched back together, she's still the most playful, the most curious, the most fearless and strong little kitty I've had the pleasure of meeting. I love that she and Taco have become buddies. He babysits her. He'll just be hovering within 2 or 3 feet of her, no matter where she is in the apartment. If he can't find her, he'll start chirping and looking for her. He's very patient and gentle with her, too. Arthur was a little timid and apprehensive at first, but that's just kind of his nature. But I caught them napping together yesterday, just curled up on the same blanket. And Tiki's starting to warm up. Like I said, she's a bit of a crotchety old lady who's a little sick of us bringing home siblings. I know that she's gonna warm up to her, and it won't be long before I find them cuddled up together on the couch. Because 4 cats is a lot for our small apartment, JT and I are still trying to figure out if we're going to be able to keep Domino or if we're going to be looking for a new home. But if anyone is interested in giving this feisty little feline a new forever home, you can leave me a comment, or even if you wanted to help kick towards her medical bills, it would be really appreciated. But I've got PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. I know she's gonna make a really fast recovery, and I'm just really excited to see what kind of cat she grows up to be. It's really funny because she wasn't the only feline aspect of our 4th of July weekend, because we were out visiting my parents and they have 3 cats, Fuzznut, Molly, and Noir, and I'll probably make a different video sharing their origin stories, as it were. While we were there, one of my little sister's friends was driving to her parents' place and happened to have to come through town. And with her was her 3-month-old kitten named Pumpkin, who looked like if you put Taco and Arthur together into one cat. He was the absolute cutest thing. They've got him leash trained, so he was just nosing around the yard, checking out all the tall grass. It was just so cute. And then we went out to my friend Nina's farm, where she had fresh little week-old nugget babies. It was just so much cute in one weekend. And it was honestly the greatest. My friends Eric and Trey were just ragging on me on the podcast last week for being a crazy cat lady, but honestly, it's a badge I wear with pride. So that wraps it up for this week's video. If you guys have photos of your own fur babies you want to show me, please tweet them at me or share them with me on Instagram or something. And we'll be back next Tuesday for another video. Until then, bye. Why are you yelling?